Hello and welcome to Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Join us as we explore the tools and insights you need to jumpstart your financial journey. The Philippine labor market is under heavy pressure, from growing calls for a living wage to massive job insecurity and international trade shifts. Workers are caught between policy inaction and global economic turbulence. Now, as the government grapples with nearly 2 million unemployed Filipinos and surging rights violations, organized labor is taking a stand. Joining us today is Attorney Sonny G. Matula, President of the Federation of Free Workers, or FFW, one of the country's oldest and most active labor federations, advocating for just wages, job security, and labor rights in both public and private sectors. Attorney, welcome to Follow the Money.
Hi, thank you, Raine. Thank you for the invitation.
We're grateful you can join us. Thank you. Now, the DTI says tariffs are a chance to boost job quality. But are we prepared, or are we just opening another race to the bottom kind of labor scheme?
So we need to confront the realities that we are facing today. But I hope that the DTI will consult the other social partners so that we can give inputs to the programs and advocacies of our government.
Sunstar reports a spike in labor rights violations nationwide. Meanwhile, what kind of labor violations have been noted, and what might be fueling this surge? Why are employers still getting away with it?
Most of the cases I'm handling in the National Labor Relations Commission, and a number of complaints that we receive from workers is on labor standards. So the observance of minimum wage law, the holiday pay, and the overtime premium are among these issues being confronted by the workers. I understand that there is some weakness in the visitorial and enforcement power of the Department of Labor and Employment, and of course the penalty that encourages impunity. At present, we have only 1,000 pesos to 10,000 pesos for violation of labor standards. Kaya hindi po natatakot yung mga employer na hindi sundin ang batas. Maliit lang naman ang penalty.
Mm-mm. But I mean, if they're not going to be witnessed as having violated it, of course, how can cases be filed against them at all?
Of course, there is a need for the workers to assert their rights. And one way of helping them asserting their rights is to organize a union to help them in their problems, the issues that they are confronting in the workplace, so that it will not be an individual struggle, but it's a collective struggle. And there is strength in collectivity.
Also an enforcement struggle, I would imagine.
Yeah, of course. There's a need to file a complaint before the Department of Labor. If you have a union, it's more of a collective effort than an individual effort. It's stronger if you have a union.
Are there certain sectors or even localities where these labor violations have been more predominant?
Of course, in the export processing zones, there are a number of companies who do not follow labor standards. And particularly the what we call the manpower agencies and the cooperative supplying workers to multinationals, for example, or big companies. Labor standards violations are rampant in these particular areas.
Mm-mm. In shifting gears a little bit, you've opposed the anti-endo bill's ACUAP version. Can you share with us more about this? And Do you believe that this is just maybe a rebranding exercise that protects employers, not workers?
If you mean the ACUAP under the General Appropriation Act, this ayuda of 3,000 pesos to 4,000 pesos, I think this is just a palliative measure in confronting the unemployment of workers or the contractualization issues that they are facing today. What we need, I think, is a security of tenure bill that will amend Article 106 on contracting and subcontracting, and a bill that will increase the penalty of those who violate the prohibition of labor-only contracting and other abusive contractual schemes.
So this is one way to sort of raise the wages of people without institutionalizing it. Is that correct?
I think this is the ACUAP is just a palliative measure. And we support another bill that will strengthen security of tenure. That would that would prohibit contractual employees on a regular job in a particular company. So in Congress, PUC party list and other progressive party list groups have some proposal how to strengthen security of tenure. And one of that is to review and amend Article 106 of the Labor Code on contracting and subcontracting, and Article 303 of the Labor Code on the penalty of violation of the provisions of the labor.
Meanwhile, industry experts say a gradual salary increase is the path to a living wage. Do you believe this? And who's really opposing it? Is it government or business or both? And, perhaps related to that, how do you address concerns that if we raise the cost of labor, then we lose the competitiveness among our Asian neighbors and potentially we lose jobs altogether?
We do not agree to such an argument. At present, we see both employer and government are hesitant to increase wages, although they need more convincing. The employer has a categorical answer of no, as usual. And wala ka naman naririnig sa kanila na kapag nagsalita ang labor to increase, ay yes sila. Ang government is later on. Yun ang posisyon nila. But para sa mga manggagawa, ikahapon pa dapat ginawa yan. Kaya sinusuportahan namin yung anukalang batas sa House of Representatives, which was approved on second reading last February of a 200 pesos wage increase on top of the existing regional wage orders. Ang palagay namin, this is a way of moving forwards towards a living wage constitutional mandate.
Attorney, is there a link between raising the wages and the joblessness in the country?
Palagay ko ay kinakailangan, kung gusto natin mag-increase ang jobs natin sa Pilipinas, ay kinakailangan bigyan natin ng taas sahod ang mga manggagawa, sapagkat yung mga manggagawa naman ay ginagamit yung pera nila para umikot yung ekonomiya, pambilihan sa mga pagkain, ng produktong agrikultura, ng produkto ng mga mangingisda. Pag may pera sila, hindi naman nila dinadala yan sa Singapore para manood kay Taylor Swift. Ito ay nakakatulong para magpapaikot ng ating ekonomiya. At ang pag-ikot ng ekonomiya ay magdadala ng mga bagong jobs o mga employment sa ating mga manggagawa.
Attorney, nearly 1.94 million Filipinos unemployed as of February. What might be the biggest reason that decent jobs remain out of reach despite the strong GDP numbers?
Yun nga po, yung ating GDP hindi nag-trickle down sa payslip ng mga manggagawa sapagkat naiiwan lamang ito sa ating mga kapitalista, sa mga korporasyon. Kinakailangan talaga ng social justice mission para mahatian naman yung mga manggagawa natin. Tulad halimbawa ng pagtaas ng sahod at kinakailangan national ang legislation na ito sapagkat 39 years na o 36 years na nakaraan na walang taas na pambansang sahod at napakababa po ng minimum wage sa BARM, 361, kumpara sa Metro Manila, 645. Ano? So tagibang yung mayroong diskriminasyon para sa mga manggagawa sa probinsya sa ating kasalukuyang wage scheme. Kaya kinakailangan po ng national wage increase para mahatian ng pag-unlad ng bansa ang lahat ng mga manggagawa.
Sufficient daw po ba yung 200 pesos across the board wage increase?
Of course, the 200 pesos is a substantial amount, but it is not enough to achieve the goal of living wage. That's the reason why we are pursuing organizing workers so that other than the national wage increase, we have the collective bargaining negotiation to supplement, to increase the wages and benefits of the workers in the workplace.
Nabanggit nyo na po kanina yung overseas work and at the same time remittances. Are we over-reliant o masyado po ba tayo talagang umaasa sa overseas work tsaka remittances na hindi na natin masyadong napagtutuunan ng pansin, fixing the job crisis here at home? Would you say there's a job crisis here at home?
Oho, napakahirap po kasi yung reliance natin sa overseas employment ay mas lalong lumalaki na ng ating populasyon. Almost 6,000 OFW ata umaalis araw-araw para magtrabaho sa ibang bansa. At yun po ay dapat sana hanapan ng paraan ng ating gobyerno na our domestic economy will progress, that the government will create a job in the country. Ang proposal po namin para may stimulus fund para sa private sector ay magtaas ng sahod. At siyempre, para naman ang gobyerno may stimulus fund ay dapat mag-create tayo ng 100 billion stimulus funds para matulungan yung mga small and micro enterprises natin na nangangailangan ng capital. So maaari itong ipahiram, maaaring lang yung mababa ang interest. So maski nga negative interest kung kinakailangan ng ating mga small and micro enterprises.
Sa mga top threats sa ating employment, sa mga workers natin ngayon, what would you identify as perhaps the top 5? And would you say, Attorney, na AI is one of the top threats to jobs in the Philippines right now?
Yeah, kinakailangan talaga natin yung digital economy, yung AI, kinakailangan natin. Siyempre, ay kaya-kaya naman yan ng mga Pilipino at maaaring gawin yan. At siyempre, kinakailangan din sa ibang parte ng ating sektor, katulad ng agrikultura at ng industriya. Kinakailangan natin i-moderno ang ating agrikultura at dapat ma-dovetail ito sa industriya para magkaroon tayo ng agro-industrialization. Kinakailangan natin tapusin na yung matagal na nakabinbin na agrarian reform program natin para yung mga lupa na para sa magsasaka ay mabigay na sa kanila at maging produktibo sila. That's of course dapat ay suporta sa kanila para moderno ang kanilang mga kagamitan at mapaunlad ang kanilang farms.
All right, there's one position paper that I saw recently, the idea or the school of thought that we as Filipinos might be exporting jobs, but at the same time importing poverty. We'll ask Attorney Matula about that in the coming minutes, but we do have to pause for a break. Stay with us, stay on BNC, and follow the money. Welcome back on Follow the Money. We're still talking about raising Philippine job quality with the President of the Federation of Free Workers, Attorney Sonny Matula. Attorney, we were just talking about AI and how we need to be able to engage in the digital economy, but this wave of job disruptions from digitalization and robotics and AI. Do you think that workers and labor unions would be able to engage in AI? Do they have the infrastructure and the available training for that disruption? Or do you think that we're really under threat of being left behind by our peers, neighbors?
At present, I think the workforce is not yet prepared, but we need to prepare with the help of the government and the employer. I think we look at the Danish model, yung kooperasyon ng workers at ng employers at ng gobyerno. Yun ang kinakailangan natin para sa paghahanda nitong tinatawag na Fourth Industrial Revolution, nitong digital industry na ating hinaharap, ito artificial intelligence. Sa kasalukuyan po, maraming mga factory na ang nagbabago. At although yung iba ay na-replace yung kanilang workforce, yung iba naman po ay mayroong cooperation yung workers at ang robot tawag nila doon ay cobots, yung collaboration with the robots. So cobots ang tawag nila. So yung mga manggagawa ay nakipagsabuatan na o may kooperasyon na sa mga robots. So yan po ay napapadali ang mga trabaho, lalong-lalo na sa manufacturing at particularly sa semiconductor industry. Pero kinakailangan po i-upgrade po natin ang kapasidad din ng ating mga manggagawa. So kinakailangan natin ang gobyerno, ang TISDA dito at siyempre ang employer para makahabol tayo sa pagpataas ng kapasidad ng ating mga.
Saan po kaya manggagaling yung kapital o di kaya yung pinaka-initiative or effort, nabanggit nyo yung gobyerno, but at the same time, I mean, kung alam natin, I'm sure may bureaucracy naman din dyan, pero kung gusto natin mapabilis, nakita na natin yung data, it says 53, according to the DICT and the World Bank, 53% unprepared ang workers natin para sa digital economy. How do we make it faster? How do we make them ready and make sure that we're not left behind by our regional peers?
Siyempre, kinakailangan, sabi ko, yung partisipasyon ng manggagawa at ng mga players ng industry, yung employer, at yung ating gobyerno. So, dapat may collaborative effort. Kinakailangan natin somewhat like the Danish model ng cooperation. Maliban dyan, siyempre, yung mga policy maker natin napaka-importante. Lalong-lalo na sa pag-budget ng ating pagpatakbo ng ating gobyerno. Ako po yung nagtataka bakit tinanggal yung 20 billion ng Department of Education sa ating computer education na kinakailangan ng ating mga manpower, yung ating darating na mga manggagawa para sa digital age. Kaya kinakailangan ng mga policy maker na marunong gumawa ng mga polisiya. Kaya palagay ko naman yung ating mga votante ay dapat iboboto nila yung mga kandidato na alam yung pag-budget ng ating gobyerno at dapat yung mga maliliit na tao, those who have less in life, must have more in the budget of our nation.
Attorney, the President once promised to study a national wage-setting body. Has that promise stalled? And do you believe that it's possible? Do we need a national wage-setting body altogether, since we already have several layers of government agencies checking what wages would be most practicable in each region?
Last year pa yung narinig ko nung Mayo, yung Labor Day, yung sinabi yan ng Pangulo, pero parang wish list lang yan ng Pangulo, no? Parang hindi must to do yung kanyang proposal na yan. Kaya palagay ko, pabilis-bilisin naman ang aksyon ng ating gobyerno. Kung pag-aralan pa yan, ipalagay ko ay nung isang several years ago pa ginawa. Pero ang aming proposal sa kasalukuyan, ipasa na yung 200 wage site nationwide as a part of the pursuit for a constitutional living wage program. Kaya tayo po ay sumusuporta doon sa wage proposal ng 200 pesos. Nasa second reading na ito po At palagay ko ay sana i-certify ng Presidente para mapabilis sa Hunyo, pagbalik ng Kongreso, ay ma-third reading na at maging batas na ito kung mapag-usapan sa bicameral committee yung sa Senado at saka House na proposal. Sapagkat a year ago pa, third reading na aprobahan yung sa Senado, yung sa House na lang ay second reading pa. Kaya dapat habulin natin bago yung 20th.
Attorney, we're down to our last minute, but I wanted to make sure that our messaging when it comes to labor really gets across, especially in this time of Trump tariffs, and we're getting a lot of risk. We're facing a lot of risks to the economy. But for you, if there was only one law that you could see passed by the end of this administration, what would it be, especially for workers, for justice, and for the future?
Yeah, itong 200 wage bill na napasa na sa second reading ay yung aking at we will support the lobbying to make this a law before the 28th Congress. So 200 pesos taas sahod on top of the present minimum wage orders.
Attorney Sonny G. Matula, President of the Federation of Free Workers, thank you so much for joining us today on Follow the Money. We appreciate you sharing your insights and we wish you well in the campaign ahead.
Salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo.
Maraming salamat po. Well, according to Attorney Matula, he's emphasizing that unless workers earn a real living wage and enjoy secure, rights-respecting employment, economic growth may remain hollow and unsustainable. Now, before we go, we'll leave you with this thought from American political economist, professor of public policy, and former U.S. Secretary of Labor Robert Reich. He said, "No country has ever grown rich by paying its workers poor." And that is it for today's edition of Follow the Money. I'm Raine Musñgi. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow. Keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.